All right, cool. Let's see what this looks like on my channel. Really? Fuck. Oh, I dislike that. All right, so let's see. Take two. Um, Welcome to the cleaning of my big airbrush cleaning video. I got the green here set up to just basically catch all the crud that is going to catch on my, wait a minute, that is going to catch on here so I don't screw up my work surface. And what I'll do is I'll have a list of, or keep a list of tools that I use, and maybe I'll write down on here tools I use and maybe, or materials, and then um, what else? Um, Formulas, because that might be important too, because there are a couple things that are just homemade mixtures of stuff. So here's my airbrush, and the problem was that um, I had paint splatter from something else that got into the well, or the pot, and I did not know that. So 2 days later, I had like a couple puddles of dried up acrylic paint in the pot, and that needed to be remedied. So it soaked in a solution for over 2 days of Windex, alcohol, and water. And it was 4 parts Windex, 4 parts water, or 4 parts alcohol, 1 part water. And that's my magic formula for this. And yeah, so what we're going to be using today for sure, we got me some gloves because that's important. Like everything that we're going to be handling today. And here's the solution here. I just mixed it up in an alcohol bottle. I may be using some regular alcohol too. And I use 91% if I can. And the reason why I'm going to be using alcohol is because um, I'll have grease on here or oily things, and just it'll clean it off. So let's see, things to be using. All right, so here's one of the big secret weapons, Hops number 9, um, gun bore cleaner. This is an acrylic eater, and as you can see, like soaking my airbrush still didn't clean off everything, so this got really gross and really disrespectful. So this is pretty much the day. And I have a pipe cleaner that I'll be using. It's a crappy kids one. You should go to a pipe store and get actual pipe cleaners. And then here's the needle that I didn't soak in the the mix. And there are a couple other pieces that didn't get soaked. This part, I have no idea what it is. And this is my um, quick release for the airbrush. One quick note, since I have a quick release, I use Teflon tape for the threads. I have 20 rolls of this laying around because I never can find it when I need it, so I always buy an extra one. So $20 worth of Teflon tape floating around. Yeah. And I'm going through stuff that isn't on the list, but pipe cleaner, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I have an array of airbrush brushes or brushes that should be useful. And I have a bore cleaning kit all over here, which is going to be pretty handy, I assume. Probably. It'll be overkill. One of the nice things about the bore cleaning kit is just that, like, it's got little cleaning patches. Of course, you can make these with by cutting up an old t-shirt stuff. I think I'm going to just need 2, maybe 3 of those. They're huge, and I'll be cutting those down. Some silicone oil, and this is for lubricating just a couple of parts at the very end. One of the neat things that was in the cleaning kit, the bore cleaning kit, was this. It's used for bore light, so I can stick this in here. The fiber optics will juice out that instead of having to try and do weird other things. It's overkill. I seriously doubt I'll be using any of the actual brushes in there. They're just bigger versions of this. So let's get started. Let's see. First, I think these are too big, so we're just going to cut one down into quarters. Justify that. Like I said, t-shirt. Just don't have any printing on the t-shirt swatches that you do use, because your solvents may interact with the printing of it, and that's pretty bad. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so this has been broken down as much as I could, with the exception of this, which I totally spaced. So, all right, so the airbrush I'm using, or I'm cleaning today, is a Krios Mr. Hobby. It is a double action airbrush. I also have a couple of the fancy paper towel rags off to the side. I like this airbrush a bunch because it has, not only can I control the airflow from the compressor and at the quick release, it also has an airflow uh, control at the very bottom, or at the very front of it. I really like that. So let's see, I took that switch off, and first thing I'm going to use that solution to scrub off a lot of the excess. And this gets dirty because I'm careless. No, it gets dirty because, yeah, if you get paint dripping down, it's just one more place for it to accumulate. But you can see the inside is really nice. It's always encased. So yeah, we're just going to scrub off a bunch of the extra crap. You see that just comes right off. And it should, after being soaked for a few days. The perils of doing what I have done is that you have the potential of ruining your O-rings. O-rings are kind of expensive on a airbrush. They're so fucking tiny. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, top messages. Do I have chats? Hello. And if somebody's in there, oh, hello. Like, I have some very loving, devoted friends who will just watch me clean the fucking airbrush. So very cool. All right, so yeah, mostly done. But yeah, gets the hops. And then this part, I don't know the names of all these parts. I just use the thing. But you can see here, I still have crap in the parts, so I'm using something against others' better judgment. I'm using an old airbrush needle to try and use as a ramming rod to get crap out. and it works well enough. And just to see how well this is going to work, hey, that does work really well. Can you see that? I don't know. Let's see, where's the hole? All right. Yeah. So there you go. Hooray, fiber optics. Camera. So yeah, so this might just be superficial bonus toy or bonus tool. And this part, I have it in my mind of how this goes back together again. I've taken it apart a few times. If you are not familiar with your airbrush, um, a Google search should be able to find you. And what you do is you'll Google search your airbrush model and ask for a exploded view or schematics or manual. If for whatever reason Google does not warrant your or find it, contact the manufacturer. They are willing, they are happy to provide you with such things because they want to keep you happy. They want to keep you as a customer. If you're buying one of the really crappy ones on Amazon, it might be a little harder. But them's the breaks. All right, so this piece here, this is important. No, it's all important. This goes up at the bottom. This helps regulate the airflow. Um, it was a mystery for years on how to get this part out, and discovered how to do it with a pair of tweezers. And I'll be happy to show how that gets reassembled in a minute. And then I have a spring for that area hiding away. And the nozzle. The nozzle's super important. All the parts are super important. But yeah. So what I do is, let's see, this is the needle. I don't want to get the needles mixed up. Yeah, like I said, I keep an old needle, even though it's a little bent, to just use as a scrapey tool or ramrod. And first thing I want to do is I just want to see how good the needle or the nozzle got. And it looks, I can see my stream through it, which is pretty nice. I think I can. It's very hard to look through this thing. One of the challenges of assembling, nope, I can feel goo in here. I can feel resistance, which means that the solution has liquefied the dried paint, but it's eventually going to reform in there. We're just going to push it out. And here's the start of the big cleaning. We're going to use the hops number 9, and I'm going to grab the crappy needle, and through the powers of adhesion and cohesion, I'm going to bring one drop into my nozzle, and we're going to swish that around. And some people might be screaming in the comments later on that, oh, you've introduced oil to your airbrush, it's going to gum up the works. No, it won't, because it's going to get cleaned out with the alcohol. It's going to get cleaned out. There will be no oil except in the trigger when everything's done. So a quick blow. We're going to check out this. The oil, it's kind of sweet smelling. It's, I don't know, like on one of the Discords that I'm on, I had given some younger person advice on airbrush thinners and qualified it if you are of age, Jin, and this dude was not. So I don't know if you have to be of age to buy uh, a gun cleaning supply. It's been a long time since I've had to worry about that, but it's a miracle juice. All right, so my nozzle is pretty clear. I'm going to put another drop through just to add a little extra security. And then after that, I'm going to just place it off to the side, off camera, in a safe, secure location so I don't drop it. I'm sorry that the stream is vertical. Like, I wanted it to be the other way. Technology, what can you do? All right, so here's the magic of the hops on the body of the airbrush. And I'm gonna grab this before we start cleaning the outside. So a dab of that, and now I have a green cloth. Now you can see that it's just wiping right off, and it's pretty handy. Like if you ever use that mystery coating stuff from Japan to like prevent airbrush clogs, this would be like the best way to deep clean your airbrush before you have to put that stuff on. What stuff? I don't know. I saw it on a video once. It's like some mystery liquid from Japan that you coat on and then brush or then bake it, and it's supposed to be a miracle liquid. All right, so yeah, bye-bye. I should have some Q-tips just in case, but I think just the brushes are going to be handy today too. So you can see, like, as long as I'm in frame, it's coming along super. It's probably going to be a longer stream too. I'm going to put a drop or two in there. I still have some carelessness. So yeah, like I could be, yeah, and there's like other brushes I could use too. I guess I have, right, I have a nylon brush I can use too to scrape it off, but it requires a solvent. Boom, look at that. Nylon brush was in the board cleaning kit. Never used one on my airbrush before. Turns out it works really nice. Should never have let my airbrush get to this state, but you know, while you're in the rush to get a lot of things done in time, some things get sacrificed. So, sacrifice my time for such things. But then I get to help out anybody else that needs to do something like this. So, in an ideal world, I'd have a little metal container to put some of that in, or a ceramic container, so I can just constantly dip in. And I'm wearing clothes that I don't mind getting or cleaning up afterwards, or because this stuff's going to spray on it. I don't need that on me for the rest of the day. And I'd rather clean my airbrush than watch the news right now. News. How are we doing? I got a couple people in the chat. The joy of live streams is being able to chit chat with people as we work along on a mutual project. So there you go. This took about 3-4 minutes to get this nice and shiny. Listening at work. Oh, I better have something more entertaining than just my steady stream of thought, huh? Okay. So, quick wipe down, and look at that. Almost brand freaking new on the outside. And then like the big note is, what the hell is that paint? Why is it so damn resistant? Like that's the paint we should be investing in for the vinyl toys. Yep, so hops number 9, the big workhorse for the day. So there we go. All that extra, all that paint, even in the crevices. That's nice. As I say that as I find one in the. So yeah, and then depending on like the quality of your airbrush, this seam where the pot meets the body, that's going to accumulate a lot of crap. Yeah, so this is the Mr. Krios, the Krios Mr. Hobby airbrush, double action. I love it. I think I'm running a 0.31 millimeter needle and nozzle on it. I could be wrong. I have a couple airbrushes, but this is one of the two that are functional. The Grex. I have a Grex, and I have broken it. Sad to report. What I did like about Grex is for their needles. If you ever doubted what they were, they have these indentations at the end of the needles to tell you what size the needle is. I wish all manufacturers did that. Sadly, no. So we're all guessing. But I ended up buying two for $40 of the Amazon Masters brands, and those I kind of bought as parts pieces, because it's easier to get crappy parts fast on Amazon than to get the actual piece parts quickly. So in a pinch, I've had to use like the Master's needle. Oops, too much. The Master's needle for um, my Krios once or twice. It worked okay. Like in a pinch. But like I've got my master is now set up to be a 4.4 millimeter uh, airbrush, or 0.4 millimeter nozzle and needle. There you go. You guys see that? That's the big culprit right there. I finally got it loosened out. Yeah, so that had splattered from some other project across the room and miraculously got in here along with some other crap, but fortunately not on any of my projects. So we'll take the little win. And now, like, that big piece is not the keystone. So now I'm going to be coming in here, scrubbing out with the little brush and dislodging crap. Lots of it. So we go in, clean it this way, go this way, go through the bore, go through that, give it a little blow. We can kind of see through it. I have some built up crap that's back here too. And I have a really big brush, I think, to use. Yeah. Grab my biggest brush, and you guys see the dog. And I'm going to go in here, and you guys still see the dog. And we're going to scrub out everything. I want to make this thing look factory clean today, so it's just going to take a little while. What I'll probably do is, after I clean most of this, I'll let some of this hops just sit for a few minutes and penetrate things while I go work on another part of the airbrush. Because there's plenty to work on. So that part's the body's getting soaked. We'll do the mechanism in here, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some hops, or I'm going to ream out this part, see how it looks, because it's been soaking. It's still crummy. I have a little deposit at the bottom. Yeah. So back to the Masters airbrush, which, I ended up utilizing what, 4 days ago. And after I made the needle conversion, because it came with 3 needle sizes, um, it's 0.17, was terrible. The next size was okay, but putting that point 0.4 in, um, because it's so dang big in the opening. Oh, there you go. Just keep being descriptive. All right, I will. Yes, ma'am. Anyway, so I was using the point 0.4, and it worked really well. Like finally, like that coarse size just said, "Hey, we can blow shit through here," and yeah, it worked out really well. I ended up painting a lot of magnets and um, some toys. Even with that point 0.4, I was able to paint like a 1/4 inch line with that. I was pretty pleased with that. Okay, so we got this back part of the body. I have not applied new oil to this cotton patch, and yeah, it's coming out super shiny. I love it. This is, as much as I hate cleaning stuff, it's very satisfying to bring this tool back to life. And yeah, I do run it into the ground. It is very much a crap. It is very much a tool that it's a workhorse in my tool set. I love it. I've been using an airbrush for 7 years. I've gone through a few. um, I would say I'm beyond beginner, but not advanced. Humble, right? And then we'll do the old inspection. There should be no paint built up in here, but there could be. All right, so then we're going to have part of the trigger mechanism, and this has paint on it too. The soaking didn't get all of it. That's all right. So we're just going to go in through with, see how the big brush works. And yeah, big brush is doing just fine. I'm going to have to just, I'm going to have to make sure I get me a couple nylon brushes for down here. So like, as obsessive as much as I don't like to have an accumulation of crap, I have a bunch of crap. Um, I don't mind having extra tools like this in one spot or the other. So like, yeah, I brought the cleaning kit downstairs just to see how well it worked, and I'm pretty pleased with it. So anything from the kit that I can use that I could probably purchase at just a hardware store is going to be a new thing in it. You can see how some of the plating is now deciding to leave. And that's just plating itself. If I need to get a new replacement, I'll contact the company that I bought the airbrush from, and they will, because they spray gunner, they they can point me in the right direction for replacement parts. Um, that is the benefit of buying a more expensive airbrush, especially a name brand one, as opposed to the crappy Amazon ones, is the ability to find extra parts. Pretty handy. Um, Not always a definite, but higher chance of likelihood. Um, During the pandemic and shortly after, everybody's at home painting and stuff, and some of the supply lines were just killed because everybody wants one. Also, so the demand. Um, But yeah, like it's cool. Like huh, I should fill out my affiliate link with Spray Gunner because I'm going to be promoting them a little today. So spraygunner.com. Um, they're based out of Florida. They know their shit. They uh, they know their shit. So they've I've I've bought from them for the past few years airbrush supplies and paints and stuff, and they're good folks over there. All right. Oh, look at that. Cool. All right. So same thing with the body. I'm going to take a dab of the oil and I'm just going to let it soak in parts. I think it's pretty clean, but give it a little marinade. This is my clean parts. This is my not yet. I should be doing this over a little tray in case I drop something. It doesn't go on the floor. This piece was really clean. I'm just giving it a cursory clean swipe just to say I cleaned everything. This this is the chuck nut that holds the needle in place. I've lost a couple of these. I have found them after time, but I've lost a couple. Like any of these parts, you drop it, good luck. Um, they can be pretty elusive. So now that I've done a cursory cleaning, I'm going to come back to the body and make sure that's. Oh, look at that! Some of that paint has dissolved. That'll be great for the follow-up. This is where a good quality pipe cleaner would be handy because if I'm going to show on this one, and it's going to double my work because this one will shred. But a good pipe cleaner would allow me to come in and just floss the hell out of this area. And a bad pipe cleaner is going to shed in there, and it's shedding. Um, Makes a little extra work for me, but for demonstration purposes, it's fine. Like, I don't know, can you see through that? It's still not 100% clean, so we're gonna just grab off camera, I think, a little oil. And I'm just gonna ream that. We're gonna scrub this. Yep, crap. That's great. Do I have a, what's the tiniest brush I got? Hey, alright. Definitely not the plan for the day, but we're just gonna show. This is a 22 caliber bore brush. It is going all the way in. Scrub a dub dub. Ooh, look at that. Looks clean. Do it a couple more times. A couple twists. There we go. Look at that garbage. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to take this cotton pad. I think. No, we'll do this one. And because of that brass tip at the end, I'm not getting everything. So I'm just going to put it over top of the brush. Then I'm going to cram it on in there. It's going to snugly fit. We're just going to twist it around. Glad I used the quarter size. And you can see crap coming out. That's great. This is all kinds of crap that would be happy to clog the nozzle and interrupt a paint session. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to take that. Actually, I'm going to do a clean one. I'm going to douse it again. I'm going to take a stick, our friend the stick, and I'm going to take it a little, push it a little farther, try and scrub it, wiggle it around. And how much crap did I get free? Look at that. Crap. Dang. I wish I had one of those headlamps. Yeah, and this needle was pretty much going to be garbage piled, but it makes a hell of a pick. And yeah, dang man, I love it when shit works. All right, so this stream was also not rated for children, so I swear a lot. Um, all right, so yeah, this is looking great. And of the parts, I'm looking at everything, like anything that's not silver is going to get a cursory glance to see if I can reveal silver. It's pretty much my rule of thumb right now. Because this should be a highly reflective surface. And some would say, oh, I'm killing that reflective surface by scraping it with a needle. You're not to believe me, I'm not. But everybody's an expert till they're not. Oh, yeah. All right, so I watched on Donut Media, they were testing out cheap products from Temu, and one of them was a fiber optics deal that they were able to get into an engine block and actually show that they could read things with this camera. Turns out that would be super superficial for what I'm doing, but at the same time a little handy at like seeing some of the hard parts. But yeah, so and then since I am using the uh, the hops, it does dissolve acrylic paint, so I'm very much going this route. It's means I have to commit to getting as much of that out as possible, or it'll just reform around, eventually dry, but it'll reform around crevices and parts and potentially gum up everything. So, gotta be thorough on this part. And this is why I'm using oil too, or not oil, alcohol too, so I can try and get um, things cleaned up. What I have to do is make sure I can close up 2 holes at the same time while pouring alcohol in 3 holes. Use my hobo sink over here. I see, blowing it out. More crap up here. That's perfect. It's what I needed to see. More crap. I can hear somebody, Rick, how'd you let it get this dirty? Well, I have been really busy and pushing this as far as I could. And if I hadn't had my accident with this, I still wouldn't have cleaned it like this. This is probably something I do once every 3 months. Oh, Airbrush is so amazing, and I guess I do neglect it a bit. And I'm going to grab a crappy paintbrush so I can scrub there. Wonderful, look at that. I say look at that as if I'm actually imagining you can see inside, see what I see. But oh, nice. Guess you're gonna love hearing that I impressed myself on the stream. Yeah, so I had two choices. I could either just do a live stream and have a steady stream of consciousness while I do this, or I could shoot this and then try and edit it, and it would take 3 weeks to try and edit this down. So either you chew through. Hey, how's it going? What's sui for cookie? I don't know what that means. Um, Sui for cookie, please? I have no idea what that means. But yeah, so like I could either spend 3 weeks trying to edit this and give you a very rudimentary one, or I could have everybody just watch this and be like, well, thanks for chewing through it. And, you get it a little faster in the long run. I have no idea what that means. So if you want to help me out, Polarize, I would be happy. Turns out a crappy paintbrush is pretty useful too to scrub out, getting some of those hard to reach areas. You see that wonderful black crap. And off camera, I am just rinsing it off with rubbing alcohol to try and get that out, that black crap out as fast as possible. Go back to the busted up pin just to make sure, needle, just to make sure that that is empty, and do another inspection of the body. And I think I'm seeing everything clear. See a couple dark spots, so we're just gonna add a little extra oil and scrub. This is a time where I'd rather double check here than find out later on that I missed a spot. Sweet cooking, please. And my glove started out blue, so okay. Dang, that's nice. So let's start cleaning out the bore again. And I deemed the body clean. I deemed this part cleaned out. That's really nice. So what we're going to do is just make sure that the smallest opening or smallest channel, i.e. the bore, is now going to be clear, and get this wrapped up. O-ring right there. Yeah. And a bit of advice for new airbrush users and current ones. If you don't have an extra set of O-rings, you should get an extra set and put them in your airbrush supply stuff. Like nothing sucks worse than having um, your last thing and having to wait. Like this chuck, I lost this when I was on a Friday night when I knew I was going to be airbrushing all weekend long. No place in town had a replacement part for it, so I got screwed out of a whole weekend's worth of work. Um, and I said never again. And then when I ended up redoing this downstairs area, that's when I found it 6 months later. Don't need to do that. So like, not to say like you need a second thing of everything, but like an extra needle, an extra nozzle, and O-rings will probably like those would be my emergency. I need to have those all the time. And if you have to replace one of those, that's your last one. So look at that. All right. So yeah, like oh my gosh, that's wonderful. All right, so I'm not going back to the bore because I did reveal some extra buildup crud, or whether or not it's built up or if it just deposited along the way. So we're just going to take an extra second to scrub this out. It's cool. David Goggins, the best. I don't know who that is. Who is David Goggins? I'll have to I guess I'll have to Google it. But you know what? I got 4 people on a Tuesday afternoon checking out my stream. I have to go in about 30 minutes. So, hey, cool. I don't think this will take that much longer to do. Famous last words. All right, so after a cursory blow, the bore is clean. I am not going to let that be the last decision, last deciding factor on whether or not that's clean, but it's a good start. So I'm just going to run the crappy needle through. Yep, and there's crap and more crap. More crap. Okay. I'm going to run alcohol through it off camera, try and get rid of some of that oil and debris and help flush things. And I'm going to give it a blow. Bore is still very clean. Oh, I love it. That's very satisfying. I'm going to give this another run through. Still super clean. That's nice. All right. So another run through with alcohol. Watch it come out. And it's clean. Crap is gone. There we go. Clean body. I'll come back over here to hit the nozzle up. Blow throughout that. Aha, there's a piece of crap in there. So, I was looking for you. Run a brush through. Too big. Run a smaller brush through. Excellent. I'll do is run a little hops through that brush. Squeeze it out. Blow it out. It is, hold it up to the light. It is shiny and white. Looks like the James Bond movie opening. A little alcohol through it. Blow it through. Dang, yo, that's nice. All right, so I'm going to start assembling the airbrush after a quick wipe down with alcohol with all the parts. So we got some alcohol over here. In theory, I should be doing a glove change too, but yeah, no. So there are two parts that I don't have on camera, which is the nozzle and the trigger. Um, oh, I missed this part. So the trigger was cleaned off a couple yesterday when I was putting a pad on it. Right, see that drop? All right. When I was putting a pad on it, that is something I'll talk about in just a second. All right, this part, man, that came out pretty clean. I'll just give it a quick cursory blow by with the oil just to make sure it's good. Let's see. Jesus loves you so much. Jesus loves you all so much. Have a great day, everybody. Well, not here. Hey, how's it going? All right. So, can't skip the nozzle parts. Let's scrub that. The knurls like to keep paint in there, so we're just gonna remedy that. It's gonna look like I missed a spot because I skipped it. And yep, beautifully cleaned. The joy of the oil and little parts, they're fucking slippery. But yeah. Oh, I didn't realize the time got away from me so fast. Typical, right? Lovely. All right, let's alcohol that up, degrease it. All right, so I think we're ready to assemble the old airbrush. So I'm going to put the oil away. The oil is very sweet smelling, so Stephen King got that right in his description. Um, there we go. Snuck in a Dark Tower reference. Anyway, so oil's sweet smelling. It's fine. Like, should I have worn a respirator? Maybe. Did I? No. I should have worn safety glasses though, just in case of splatters. Okay, time to assemble the airbrush. What I'm going to assemble first is probably one of the harder parts, which is the flowy mechanism down here. Let's see. This goes in like so, but it has a spring. So the only reason I know this goes in that way is because of the it goes in this way, I believe, because of the O-ring. Goes in like that, push it down. All right, so this required 2 Google searches to figure out how to take this out, put it in. It's not as hard as I thought it was, but how do you screw it in? Tweezers. Why those little side notches are there. I grab it, push it down, twist, 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 boom, locked in. think, oh gosh, I may have had this backwards. Well, that's why we have the trigger. Here's my trigger. Haha, looks like a dopey mushroom. All right, so it has I used a little silicone putty thanks to a Craftsman video of the recipe on how to do that so that I could have a cushion on it because the 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 airbrush for the master, the Amazon one, sucked, and I ended up getting this nasty blister and callus on my finger because of that. And I decided I would make a pad for that one. Instead of making a pad for one, might as well make a pad for two. And I'm just dry fitting to make sure that I did put that bottom mechanism in right. If I did, great. I'll just assemble this part um, as soon as I get it in. And I'm assuming with all the trouble I'm having, I didn't get it in right. Or I'm just really bad at this game. What did you do today? Oh, I spent 2 hours watching a guy on a stream trying to not get his trigger in his airbrush. Seriously. Well, now you can see how it's unscrews. How's that? Easy peasy. One handy or one note about when we're assembling and disassembling this, like most of the parts of your airbrush only need to be hand tight. There are some parts that, once you start using it, if you start seeing bubbles come out of the seams, tighten it up a little more. But like, it's a tool, it's a precision tool, and over tightening is going to break parts. We'll cover that in just a second too. Seriously, what do I have going on here that like, I thought I was really good at doing this until now. I had the right trigger. Would be the worst part. Now that I have the cover on, I can't tell if I have the right trigger. No, I think that's the right one. I'll give it one more try and then. Oh, the crappy airbrush fits in it. All right, wait a second. Oh, that would explain it, I think. Okay, so this is the, I switched airbrushes, or I switched needles. So this would be subject 2 of the next cleaning I do. That makes sense. Yep. It's a little embarrassing. I just figured it out. Anyway, cool. All right, so not all parts are universal. That's okay. So the clue to me that I switched them was 2 parts. One, that this has a slight bevel at the bottom, um, and it fit in nicely. Part of the yeah. So if like screwing around with the the cheaper ones, when you like um, actually start assembling it, you can feel how much different the quality is on a cheaper one, just like even in the threads itself. So, um, yeah, just that tiny little bevel was enough to say, hey, you're not meeting the tool's expectations. All right, and then there's a little curve there that I'm going to look at that. Okay, I did put that in backwards. That's the only reason I did this. Did I? Oh dear. I hate to say I'm running out of time. All right, let's see. Oops, almost cross-threaded it. Nope. There we go. There you go. Expert level assembly, and having trouble with it. I can't say this is embarrassing. It's just tedious. There we go. I think. There we go. Now, did I put it in backwards? Perfect. All right, everything's squishy. Okay, so let's get everything reassembled. We'll put that part in, put that in, this guy. Got to put the needle in so that I don't have the trigger just spring off into nowhere. I'm not going to totally tighten down the needle right now because there's still the nozzle and stuff to do. That's tightened up. That's great. We'll put the chuck on just to make sure I don't lose any little tiny parts. I'm going to have the needle. If you've noticed, my needle is bent. That's okay. It's still serving me just fine. One thing you'll notice I haven't touched is one of the little wrenches that come with the device until about now. All right, so that's taken care of. That's there. That I'm going to use hand tighten that, hand tighten that, blow that out. Now the nozzle and the supplied wrench. This is an error I've made before multiple times. I'm going to pass this information along to y'all. This is a very soft piece of metal. I used to tighten it down and not understand. Um, I would tighten it down and I had no idea that I was breaking these things when I would, until I broke one off and left the threads inside the body. Fortunately, there's an easy fix to getting the threads out. So I tighten it until it stops, and then I just give it one finger touch more. Like that's all it really needs. Yeah. And there we have, and then I'll take this, drag it all the way out to the front, assemble this, put that back in, and voila, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It's not working. Oh, because I did that. Voila, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The only reason it froze is because I had over tightened this part. I don't know, remember what that does. It's over some type of more airflow regulation. All right, so then the last thing to do before I start painting. Oh, I forgot a step. See how one step screws it all up. This is some silicone oil. I want to oil this hinge. And there it goes. Okay, so I want to oil this pivot point, and I'm going to put a drop of oil down the shaft too. And what that's going to do is just ensure that this piston operates wonderfully, well, and because I've had it stick in the past, and that's really annoying when it sticks, because if it sticks, it's just blowing hot air, and nobody needs it to be blowing hot air, so, or blowing air. So, beautiful. Wonderful. Chuck it in. Still functioning. And all right. Functioning. Okay. Great. So, second to last step we're going to do, little Teflon tape for the quick disconnect. I don't know where I put my quick disconnect. Shit. I thought I had it. Oh, there it is. All right. So Teflon tape. Some people are more obsessive than others about how and when, where they put Teflon tape. I just put it here at the quick disconnect. Like some people would do it up here too. I don't do that. So there it is, all cleaned up, good to go. Hook it up to the quick connect. You can hear that. What we're going to do is I'm going to run some water through it. Actually, first thing I'll do is I'll run the magic cleaning solution through it. And then I'll run alcohol, just plain alcohol through it. And then I'll just shoot water through it for a little bit. I'm going to turn my PSI really high so I can just shoot a very aggressive amount of water through it. And yeah, like we're just wrapping up. In an ideal world, I'd run paint through this to show that it's done, but then I don't feel like cleaning up anything right now. You can hear that it's working, so that's awesome. So got my clearing pot over there. I'm going to put 1 pot level of cleaning mix through it. You can see it's working. Dang, that looks good. We're using the clearing chamber, so I don't have to wear a respirator. I'm just taking a dab out of the pot, and then I'm going to wipe down the airbrush. So wiping it down, as great as a protectant as the gun oil can be, if I touch this with my bare hands, if I touch this, I do not want to transfer those oils to a toy or anything other airbrushing products, so I'm just going to strip that down. The new pad feels great on the finger. Everything feels great. Now we'll just do the plain old alcohol. Ah, that's a boost. Well, how long have I been live? Oh, that's satisfying. Okay, so I'm going to let the water set in the pot until my next time to paint, and then it'll get cleared out. Water will get cleared out, then I'll run alcohol through it one more time, then water a couple more times before I start a painting session, and that's it. So yeah, here's the rundown. Beautifully cleaned airbrush. I could do this again with the crappy master one. So what did we need? We needed gloves, alcohol, hops number 9, Teflon tape, couple brushes. This was my dark horse. I didn't expect that to work well. A little silicone oil, magic cleaning solution for the rudimentary stage is the Windex, alcohol, and water. Yeah. All right. So everybody who joined, thank you so much. Hope this was educational. If you watch this later on in the pre-record, yeah, here. If you're watching this in the pre-record, put a comment in below saying the pre-record. I'd appreciate it just to see how many other people do get to watch or will watch this. On that, this is Rick Strohmeyer signing off. Thank you very much for your time.